In a land where the sun warmed the earth and rivers sang ancient songs, there lived a maiden whose beauty was spoken of in whispers. Her name was Adaeze. She was not only beautiful but humble, gentle, and deeply respected. She honored her elders and cherished her mother above all. One day, Adaeze went to fetch water, carrying her clay pot with grace, unaware that destiny was quietly unfolding. Suddenly, a flashy car pulled onto the narrow road, stirring dust, an unusual sight in the village. A well-dressed young man stepped out, his presence commanding attention. Startled, Adaeze paused. "I have traveled far and wide, but I have never seen such beauty," he said, admiring her openly. "Thank you, sir," she replied shyly. "What is your name?" "Adaeze." "A name as beautiful as you," he smiled. "I am Billy Billions, and I came here searching for a wife, but it seems my search is already over." Confused yet composed, Adaeze politely refused his offer of a ride. He laughed, boasting that poverty had shaped her thinking, promising to rescue her instead. From a distance, Emeka, the man who loved her silently, watched with a troubled heart. Billy then offered Adaeze a bundle of cash. Though hesitant, she eventually accepted it quietly. Satisfied, he drove off, leaving dust behind. Adaeze stood still, thoughtful, until she turned and saw Emeka watching. Guilt filled her heart instantly. In that moment, a seed was planted, not of love, but of doubt. Emeka stepped out from his hiding place, his face heavy with hurt. He called out to Adaeze, his voice trembling as he questioned what he had just witnessed. Adaeze, startled and ashamed, quickly explained that the stranger meant nothing to her. She apologized softly, assuring him that her heart had not changed. Though still troubled, Emeka chose to believe her, and together they walked back toward the village in uneasy silence. When they arrived at Adaeze's compound, her mother's sharp eyes immediately fell on the bundle in her daughter's hand. The moment she realized it was money, her face lit up with excitement. She praised Adaeze loudly, calling her a blessed child destined for greatness. But her joy quickly turned to anger when she noticed Emeka standing nearby. Her expression hardened, and without hesitation, she drove him away, declaring that a poor man had no place near her daughter. Adaeze cried and pleaded, but her mother refused to listen. Instead, she urged her to embrace the wealthy stranger and even demanded that she bring him home. Torn between love and pressure, Adaeze stood in silence, her heart heavy with confusion, not knowing which path to choose. The morning sun had barely settled when the wealthy stranger arrived at Adaeze's compound. His presence alone stirred excitement, but it was Adaeze's mother who welcomed him with overwhelming joy, praising his arrival as a blessing upon her household. She hurried to offer him a seat, her face glowing with pride as though her daughter's future had already been secured. The young man spoke with confidence, his words smooth and convincing. He declared his admiration for Adaeze and spoke boldly of his wealth, of fine houses, comfort, and a life far beyond the village. He promised to change her life completely, painting pictures of a future filled with luxury. Adaeze's mother listened with delight, her heart captured by every word he spoke. Then, with a calm smile, he revealed his intention to take Adaeze to the city to meet his parents, so preparations for marriage could begin. Without hesitation, her mother agreed, urging Adaeze to follow him and not miss such a rare opportunity. But as joy filled the compound, a shadow lingered unseen. For beneath his charming words and generous promises, the stranger carried a hidden purpose, one far darker than anyone could imagine. The next morning arrived with a quiet tension. Adaeze dressed slowly, her heart heavy with doubt. Though her spirit resisted, she could not defy her mother's wishes. With a forced calm, she stepped into the rich man's car, leaving behind the only life she had ever known. As they journeyed on, the road stretched far beyond the familiar paths of the village. Adaeze sat in silence, her thoughts clouded with unease. Suddenly, the man veered off the main road, turning into a narrow path that led deep into a thick forest. Confusion gripped her. "Why are we stopping here?" she asked, her voice uneasy. The man smiled faintly and told her to remain calm, claiming he had something to show her. But the moment he stepped out and returned with a rope, fear took hold. Before she could react, he restrained her. Adaeze trembled, her voice shaking as she tried to protest, but his threat silenced her, warning that any struggle would cost her life. Terrified and helpless, she allowed him to lead her deeper into the forest. In that moment, the cost of blind desire revealed itself. For through her mother's hunger for wealth, Adaeze now stood on the edge of a fate that could destroy her forever. Deep within the silent forest, the rich man dragged Adaeze to a hidden clearing. Her body trembled as he forced her to the ground. From his pocket, he brought out a bright red scarf and began to chant in a low, unsettling tone. Fear overwhelmed Adaeze, and tears streamed down her face as she cried out for help, her voice shaking with desperation. Unknown to her, fate had not abandoned her. Not far away, Emeka was hunting when he heard faint cries carried by the wind. Alarmed, he followed the sound, pushing through the thick bushes until he reached the clearing. What he saw froze his blood, Adaeze bound on the ground, and the man standing over her with a knife. Without hesitation, Emeka charged forward. A fierce struggle broke out as he fought with all his strength, driven by love and determination. After a tense battle, he overpowered the man and freed Adaeze from her bonds. Overcome with emotion, Adaeze clung to Emeka, weeping as she begged for his forgiveness and vowed her loyalty. Emeka, moved by her sincerity, confessed his enduring love for her. Together, they returned home, forever changed, having learned that true love and wisdom are far greater than the false promise of wealth.